Hey folks, Taco here. Another episode of TacoBonsai where I start to address my helm. This thing is a little bit of a beast. Trying to zoom out here, sorry for my struggling. Very good with that. There we go, that's a little better. Alright, so it is of course a big tree that I cut up inside Nina. And now it's growing all this growth out. Now I have gone ahead and put a little piece of wire up here. See if any of this will fuse. I don't think it has. Now it's at a point where I don't think I'll be able to use that kind of swell. Let me focus. Seems to not want to let me focus. Or zoom out, which is kind of annoying, but you know. No shocker there, right? Alright, well. Bouncing everything around. Here we go, you can kind of see. So I am going to take off this wire, if I can, see what happens to all these little branches when I do. They separate or if they sit together. See the wire up here? So let's see what happens. Don't want to grab another piece of... Alright, I think that some of it's going to fall. But apparently not all of it. Alright. Pull this out of here. Just a little piece in the back here. Yeah, definitely no fusion going on there. So now what I've got going on is kind of a very exaggerated broom. I'm really happy with my growth. God, this doesn't want to focus at all. Very happy with my growth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this out of here. I'm just going to put it down there. Don't need that right now. I need this. Now I'm going to go through and try to select good, bad, and ugly. Of course, I want to keep this one down low. I don't know if it'll be sacrificial or not, but I want to let these grow out. It's really getting a nice shape to it. Now looking up here, it kind of looks like a mess. But I know I can eliminate some of these, like, you know, it's a bunch of tiny ones. In fact, I got a whole bunch growing from one spot here. None of them are particularly big. In fact, I'd say that none of them come up any particular amount. So I'm going to take off all these, except for the outermost one. What that's going to do is give me a bit of an ability to kind of roll with the punches. It turns out, ooh, yeah, I've got some crossing over the trunk too. Sorry. Hard to do while holding on to it with my bad hand. A couple of you understand that. All right. So I took out the ones that were just, you know, everything but this last one here. In fact, I left two. I'm going to take off the one that's headed straight up. That way, it's also out of the way. I've got this one growing over. It's kind of a nice shape and everything, but I don't really need it. This one's growing up, but it's small. This is probably one of my bigger ones here. This one's kind of growing at a funny angle too, so that's also going to come out. What I'm going to try to do is just thin this out and let some of these branches thicken up for me. So in here, I've got kind of a wall of branches. I can see this one here. It's not very big, so it's going to come out. One behind that, not so big. Of course, I got these two here. Both aren't very big, but ooh, gotta take out something, right? If I'm to leave all these branches, and some of them are quite nicely sized, I'm gonna leave all these branches. I'll have issues with necessary thickening. Oh, good thing I got in here. There is some mealies. All right, all this stuff growing in, with exceptions, of course. So, of course, with those mealies, I've got ants. What I'll do is I'll probably give some of these cuttings to my buddy who is just starting off his bonsai journey. Little one here, it's got to come out. It's just too small, and there's this one around the back here. I'm going to see if I can get that one as well. Again, I'm trying to stick with the thicker ones. Right here, again, not quite thick enough to be retained for my purposes. Got all these in here. I think this one is probably, oh, yeah, thinnest, and there's four. These two are definitely the biggest here. So what I'll do is I will Look at that. That's a cutting off that one. And I will take off the back. Take off. Oh, man, I don't want to take off this biggest one. I'm going to take off. Well, we'll start on the side instead. So you can see I've got some stuff that's kind of grown in a funny way. I can tell already behind these, got a bigger one. So they're all going to come out of there. Oof. Around the back here again, I've got these. They're just kind of small. This one's, ooh, looks like I did get a little bit of, I don't know if I'd call it fusion. Almost looks like fusion over here. So that's pretty cool. That's what I was going for. So I know it's not all three of these. Let me get this a little farther in. But might be close to it. Yeah, it's close to all these. Can't tell exactly what's going on here. It's fun though. This one is going in the wrong direction. As nice as it would be to get that kind of balance to it, it's not necessary. All right. So now I'm down to one, which is the farthest one out. I've got this sort of wall here, which is fine. I've got this sort of wall here that kind of goes a different direction. Coming up, I need to take some of these tall ones back a little bit, because even though they're growing nicely, they will continue to grow nicely even if I cut them back a little bit. And plenty of branching on it. You know, this is branching real nice. What I'll do is I'll take, so this is bent off, which is fine. I'm going to leave that one, but this one to be taken back. So I'm going to take it back to the last couple leaf sets. So trying to trim this so it doesn't fall down onto the ground. Got a couple leaves there. This one too, I'm going to take it back. It's right there. This one to here. Where's this coming from? Oh, it's coming from that other side there. So I'm going to take this back to here. Since I was crossing over. This one here, I'm going to take back to here. All right. Back anyways, just the growing tip. So I still don't have anything that resembles a tree. I get that. But I have something that a little bit more resembles tree in progress, I suppose. So I've got this lowest branch here. It's coming out. Oh, it's not focusing. Sorry, my hand's kind of shaking. Got this one here that comes out. This one, it's small, but it's coming in a different direction from the rest of them. I got this wall here, which I'll have to choose at some point which of these I want to keep. For the time being, I'm not really concerned with having too much there other than just making sure there's energy left over. Clearly got an issue with pests in here, so I'll have to spray that down. I've got these here that have sort of fused. I don't know how. But I'm okay with it. That's a nice trunk that started there. I don't have a lot of balance right now. Everything's kind of on this side of the tree. So I've got that side towards the sun being that way for the majority of the day. And now that I've taken all this back, here, let me take this one back too. Just need some visibility in here. I'll leave like branches like this that are still coming out nicely. What I'm going to go for on this one is probably going to be a broom style. I can always carve this. I'd like to have some sort of, place that I'm carving. Because this branch on the bottom is here, I'm going to keep this one with hopes that it continues to grow out this way. I can't even tell what's going on half the time in here. Oof. There we go. But really, my biggest issue that I can see is just all these ants in here. That is probably just full of mealies. I don't know how old this tree is, but let's see if I can focus in here. And my phone does not want to focus today. I don't know how old this is, but I think it's a nice aged Lacebark elm. If I can keep it going and developing and filling out and staying low, we'll be good. Now, of course, this past time I let it grow up so it could, thicken up a little bit. These weren't existing before, and these are nice, strong branches. I might be able to wire them down, but I'm not going to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this one out. It does not need to be there. got the Carnage cam here. That's something I can work with. Give some of those cuttings to my buddy Doug and see what he can grow. Yeah, that is just another step in the development. This will continue to flourish. It grows like a weed, as you can tell. Um, Everything else is looking pretty good with exceptions. You know, I've got some willows that cut everything off of it on the root side because it fell. Actually, I didn't cut anything off those roots really. That just fell. That one I repotted. That seems to be doing well. Got my crepe myrtle here that I may have lost some branches, but it's definitely alive. The other fusion willows back over here, it looks good. And a couple of these have been repotted. This guy looks okay. A little wilty, but definitely perked up. These were drooping before, so it's definitely got some energy in it. This will help me a little bit with a lot of things, certainly. So, and down here, we'll see how everything turns out. It's a funny looking tree. Very, very bulky right now, but I'm hoping that that will change. I'm hoping that my roots will heal up a little bit, look good. I got this one. I think these are called crow's feet. I got this one root that comes out like this. I may end up terminating it here and having it go further on the soil. I know I've got to work a little bit more on this one. I got one in the back here. It comes out real nice, but it's real thick. So I'll probably end up doing a lot of root carving in, say, 2 years. I don't know if it'll stay in this the whole time because I probably need something ceramic. But this is a live part of the tree. I carved down in here, but this is definitely still live. I can probably scrape back a little bit. You can see the cambium. See, that's still alive. I'm hoping that this will grow its own, uh, you know, branches and all that stuff because it's already rooted down below, and I can have another little sister tree here, have a little feature, keep it with this root around these rocks. It's a beautiful rock. I love the rock, nice and detailed. But we'll see what happens. Of course, even my pots are being used as shelves for other pots, so we'll just have to see. So, thank you for joining me on another episode of Taco Bonsai. Everyone, take care of yourself.